What's up, YouTube? Timmy's here. With 28 Days Later out now, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite British horror movies of all time. Because there are some really good American horror movies, yes, but there are some British horror movies that I do quite enjoy as well. So here is my official top 10. Number 10 is going to be unpopular to say, and you know what? I don't care if you say what's the unpopular thing or not. If I enjoy it, I'm just going to come out and tell you I enjoy it. Like, I'm not going to try to hide that I enjoy it or not. Number 10 is a recent one, granted. It's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Actually, I'm going to put 1 and 2 in the same order. I don't care what anyone says. Like, yeah, the first one is very cheap and all. But I would say part 2 is probably a little better. I mean, the Tigger one is vicious, you know. And yeah, I quite enjoyed the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey movies. I think they're all pretty fun. They all campy. Love the kills throughout. You know, of course, the first film was the movie that, because of the public domain and stuff, and obviously it became a pretty big hit when it was released. It's a whole Twisted Childhood universe stuff. We do got a third one coming. We got that as Monsters Assemble one coming too. So, and of course we got the Bambi one, the Pinocchio one, and all. But hey, I guess you could say Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was like pretty much the Iron Man of this cinematic universe here, you know, and it's a really fun one. All right, number 9 is of course the film Woman in Black. Now the sequel is terrible. We don't talk about that one, but the Woman in Black, starring Daniel Radcliffe as Arthur Cripps, who travels to a remote village to settle in the state, only to discover a malevolent spirit. The Woman in Black, whose presence is linked to the mysterious deaths of the children in the town. Now, the sequel, I will say, is awful. But the first Woman in Black was really creepy. You had Jen McTiernan was great in this. James Watkins, who will go on to direct the recent Speak No Evil remake. And he's doing the upcoming Clayface movie. He did a good job with this one. Radcliffe really nailed it here. Really, Sarah Hines was great. Some really crazy, creepy stuff throughout. It is a really good one, worth giving a go. Alright. Number 8 is Dog Soldiers. Of course, the werewolf movie starring the likes of Kevin McKay, Sean Pertwee, directed by Neil Marshall. A squad of British soldiers on a training mission in the Scottish Highlands encounters a pack of werewolves. Dog Soldiers is a really entertaining one, if you will. It was pretty bloody at times. There is still talk about a sequel. Who knows if we're getting to that. But yeah, Dog Soldiers, Neil Marshall. It's a shame he hasn't really put out anything good lately, because he's put out some really good stuff. Like, I have another Neil Marshall movie on this list as well. But Dog Soldiers is a really fun one. You know, great cast, great, effects throughout. It is a really just one worth giving a go. Speaking of Neil Marshall, number 7 is The Descent. I would say The Descendants. Totally different film. The Descent. Where a group of women explore an uncharted cave system in the Appalachian Mountains. And of course they are trapped underground and they face not only claustrophobia, but bloodthirsty humanoid creatures. The Descent is, unlike John Campion, who actually has this in his top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. I'm not going that far, but The Descent is one of the most creepiest, scariest movies you'll see. I mean, if you're claustrophobic, definitely you probably would not want to watch this. But The Descent is such a really good one. Really interesting characters throughout. Really creepy stuff. It's a really interesting one. And they did do a sequel, which, whatever. Alright. Number 6 is Anna and the Apocalypse. Anna and the Apocalypse is one of the most underrated, underappreciated horror comedies in recent years. I thought of this movie as, let's say, Shaun of the Dead meets High School Musical. It is pretty much like a musical film set, of course, around Christmas time, where, of course, a zombie outbreak hits the sleepy Scottish town during Christmas, and Anna and her friends must sing and dance their way to their final loved ones. The music Once in a while, I will always play the music in this. Like my favorite is probably the Hollywood Endings one. I really blast out that one tons of times. Uh, I mean, the music in this is just great. Ella Hunt is amazing as Anna. It definitely is lots of fun. I remember watching this one in theaters back in was it 2019 or 2018? One of the two. I just had a blast with this one. It's great music, really entertaining. Where's my sequel to this is beyond me, but go watch Anna and the Apocalypse. It is a really fun one, worth giving a go. Alright. Number 5 is Stitches. Probably one of my favorite clown movies that is not Pennywise or Terror or Arthur Clown. Stitches is a really good one. The gore in this is great. If you guys don't know much about Stitches, it's where like years after a party prank kills Richard Stitches Grindle, a terrible clown. He returns from the grave to revenge on the now teens who caused his death here. And the kills is just insane. It's definitely a really fun one. Has fun humor to it. I mean, I ever wondered why they never done a sequel to this. Beyond me. But if you guys never seen Stitches, do yourself a favor, give it a go. I think you can find it on Tubi nowadays. It's such a good one and worth giving a go. Alright. Number 4, speaking of James Watkins, by the way, number 4 is Eden Lake. Of course, James Watkins, also did the aforementioned The Woman in Black. He's doing Clayface next year. Now, this, of course, stars Kelly Rowley, Michael Fassbender, Jack O'Connell, where Jenny and Kelly Rowley plays Jenny, and Michael Fassbender plays Steve, who's on a romantic trip to a remote lake. But their peaceful getaway turns a terror when they're like targeted by a group of violent local youths here. Eden Lake is such a good one. Definitely a very creepy throughout too. This was actually one of like Michael Fassbender's earliest roles, really. He was great. Jack O'Connell, who's in the new 20 Days Later or 20 Years Later, he's great in this. It is a really decent one, worth giving a go. Always odd they never done a sequel to this. But, it is a great survival story. Definitely really entertaining. Really creepy throughout. Really, definitely give this one a go. Alright. Number 3 is not to be confused with the remake. Not the Bees, one of the worst remakes of all time. My number 3 pick is, of course, the original The Wicker Man. Now, of course, The Wicker Man, directed by Robin Hardy. It's where like this devout Christian police sergeant, Nell Howie, played by Edward Woodward, travels to the remote island of Summer Rice to investigate a young girl's disappearance, and he seems like encounters like rituals, unsettling villagers and stuff. Now, of course, the remake with Nick Cage, one of the worst horror movies of all time, in my opinion. But the original is a creepy one. Of course, you had like Edward Woodward, who you also might know from the Equalizer fame. He was also in this. The always legendary Christopher Lee was in here. It's actually also based on a book as well. Directed by Robin Hardy. Great folk horror film. Really interesting character study stuff. I mean, go check out the original. You don't have to borrow with the remake, but yeah. And thankfully, there's no one here that says not the Bees. So, yeah. Alright. Number 2, the sequel, of course, is out. The new version is out now. So, of course, it's only fitting for me to include this one. Number 2, 28 Days Later. Of course, directed by Danny Boyle. Of course, after, you got Cillian Murphy, who plays Jim, who finds London is deserted and ravaged by a rage virus that turns, people into mindless killers. They're really zombies, but whatever. And, of course, Cillian Murphy, Naomi Harris, Brendan Gleeson. 28 Days Later is a really decent first installment. Of course, there will go on to be 20 Weeks Later, which I was not a fan of. The recent one, 20 Years Later, is a good one. I mean, this is a really decent one, worth giving a go. A really decent, first installment. Really was a different version of the zombies that we never really seen before. interesting characters and stuff. It's a really decent one, worth giving a go. And my number one favorite British horror movie of all time is this any surprise? This is not a surprise at all. Number one is Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead is one of the greatest horror comedies of the 2000s. Of course, directed by Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. Who doesn't love Shaun of the Dead? The humor is great. Some of the kills is terrific. The chemistry between both Pegg and Frost is great. This is just such a great one. It's just really fun, entertaining. Edgar Wright, the movie that put him on the map, the movie that put Pegg and Frost on the map too. It has some great full laughs, a bloody good time. It is a really good one, worth giving a go. Anyway, that's pretty much it there. Here is, of course, my quick rundown. Alright, number 10, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. 9, The Woman in Black. 8, Dog Soldiers. 7, The Descent. 6, Anna of the Apocalypse. 5, Stitches. 4, Eden Lake. 3, The Wicker Man. 2, 28 Days Later. And number 1 is, of course, Shaun of the Dead. Now, there's some other good ones I probably could have added too. Let's see. House of Frankenstein, also with Christopher Lee. I could have added tons of Christopher Lee movies on this list. Kill List, Peeping Tom's a good one. Sightseers, The Children, Creep, the one from 2004, not to be confused with the Patrick Brice one. In Fear, Triangle, Attack the Block, The Awakening. I mean, yeah, I could list tons of other ones, but let me ask you guys, what are some of your favorite British horror movies of all time? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Timmy signing out.